And now we take you live, where Indian Union Minister Ashwani Vaishnav is addressing the second day of the 9th edition of Raisina Dialogue 2014.
How the decision making was separated out of populist measures. So go back 10 years and the entire focus of railways would be, where do you start a new train service? Go back 10 years and most of the things that you would hear about railways would be practically negative. Come fast forward today, we hear that in last 60 years, 20,000 kilometers were electrified. Electrified basically the entire track network. Instead of running on diesel locomotives, you run it on electrical locomotives, much more cleaner, 90% less polluting, right? And in 10 years, 40,000 kilometers electrified. Imagine one of the largest networks is of Germany, that is about 35,000 kilometers. So electrifying equivalent of Germany's network in 10 years. Big task. That's possible because a lot of independence of decision making was given to the railway sector itself. You guys decide, this is the goal we have to achieve. You decide, make your plans, execute them. Last year we added 5,200 kilometers of new railway lines. That is like adding a Switzerland in India's railway network. This year we are adding 5,500 kilometers of railway lines. So adding one more Switzerland in the Indian railway network. Next year we'll be adding 6,000 kilometers. Year further we'll be adding 7,000 kilometers. Imagine the pace of work which is happening. World's largest station redevelopment program. 1,300 stations being rebuilt. Not just cosmetic, but rebuilt. That's possible because Prime Minister has given absolute independence to the railway board. Make your decisions, plan your execution path, execute it with focus. Second, a lot of focus on investment. When you look at public sector investments, people look at risk from different perspective. Whether there would be limitation on liability, whether there would be undue open risks which cannot be covered. And in what we understand, risk should be basically placed with the party which is best placed to handle that risk. So how do we divide the risks between the public sector and the private sector? Those kind of contractual structures are today in place. I can see huge amount of interest from multiple different types of vehicles, whether it is institutional investors, whether it is private equity, whether it is banking system. They are all investing very heavily in the physical and digital infrastructure sector companies, in the public sector units also. So the focus here is we transform the public sector units into making them agile, making them responsive to new technologies, making sure that they are significant players without in any way putting a negative impact on the growth of innovation which is happening. That's the way we are looking.
You've spoken about railways. In April this year, we'll complete 30 years of National Telecom Policy 94 completing. And in the last 10 years, those who don't know, when National Telecom Policy 94 was invited, there was less than one phone per 100 and only landlines. We are now at over 50% internet penetration, billion mobile phones, 750 smartphones, 6G stack. You've given the details on railways. Can I ask you to explain to our friends in the audience this mindset change of scale, of size, of chasing the best? So what drives that? What is behind that? Because this is the symbol of New India that most people would like to understand the thinking behind it.
Well, it's a direct reflection of the way our Prime Minister works. You go with this kind of achievement, he'll say, no, do this. You go with this, he'll say, do this. He always makes us think big, See, incremental changes can give us only so much result. Incremental is good if your base is very big. At our position of the economy, our point in which, in the journey of our development, we need to really take big risks. We need to take big calls. We really need to put huge amount of effort in executing those calls. And that's what Modi government is today known for. I'll give you one example from the telecom sector since you took up this point of telecom. Having our own telecom stack, end-to-end telecom technology, that was considered like next to impossible. For decades, we have been importers of telecom technology. Prime Minister gave us this challenge, can we develop the telecom stack the way we have developed the digital stack? And it took 2.5 years, 3 years to develop it. But today the telecom stack, 4G telecom stack, upgradable to 5G is ready. It is getting deployed today. And coming years, we would start exporting it. So this is something which was unthinkable. So one of my favorite quotations is, our Prime Minister says, mind is never a problem, mindset is. Mind is never a problem, mindset is. If we can change the mindset, so many things can change. If we can change a mindset towards doing bigger things, if we can change the mindset towards taking bigger risks, understanding those risks and then executing on those, I think we can achieve big.
So, Honorable Minister, there's 6 weeks before elections, or 7, depending on what the dates are, then another 6 weeks of elections, and then the government's back, and sort of the entire process begins again for a 5-year period, a very important period in India's journey and development. If you had to leave us with a message on what is it that the global audience and delegates should watch out for in the next 5 years, the vision that will be played out starting, say, June of 2024 for a 5-year period, what would that be?
There will be a lot of focus on manufacturing, and we should not look at manufacturing as services or manufacturing. We should look at services and manufacturing. There are certain experts who say that no, India should look at only services, should not look at manufacturing, but I think we should look at services and manufacturing. Within manufacturing, in the next 5 years, there will be a lot of focus on the entire spectrum of manufacturing. Not just, I don't think we should ever see as if whether it is low-end manufacturing or high-end manufacturing. We do need to have both. That is first part. Second part, there will be lots and lots of focus on upgrading our education system to a totally new level. The national education policy has been received very well. The execution has already started. But there will be a lot of focus on making sure that percolates down to the grassroots level and the education system really comes up to a new level. There will be lots and lots of focus on health sector and infusion of technology on health sector, which basically started with the way we managed our COVID challenge, the way we developed the vaccine, the digital mechanism of implementing the entire program. Ayushman is totally a digital platform. So there will be lots and lots of focus on technology in healthcare. And fourth, there will be huge amount of focus on developing some of the most important and critical technologies. And that we will do in partnership with the private sector, in partnership with national and international players, and in partnership with the trusted geographies that are with us. So there will be a totally new way of governance that we can see in the next 5 years. The next 5 years will be basically laying the foundation for becoming a developed country by 2047.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. The Honourable Minister, honest, detailed, succinct, and in line with Indian Railways' ambition, on time. We finished the time just in time for the next session. Thank you so much. Please join me in a round of applause.
Thank you so much, Honourable Minister, and thank you so much, Mr. Bhatia, for a fascinating conversation you've given us.